Welcome to Get Glazed. Today we're going to talk about a serious juxtaposition, shock to the system that I had. So as you know, I'm a New York transplant in the Midwest, but I didn't grow up in New York City. I grew up in Long Island. So I grew up like 15 minutes from the beach, and I didn't really go to sleepaway camp or really day camp. I went to day camp for like a week. My mom just really wanted to hang out with me. She was home and kind of like me, and we just went everywhere with her, me and my brother. So I went to the beach every single day for as long as I can remember. And we put a pool in my backyard around when I was like 12 or 13. So I didn't really ever go to the town pool. Now, there was a town pool where I grew up, but we rarely went, maybe a couple of times when I was a kid. So earlier this week, there was an invitation to this play group that I joined. And, I'm really also like not a joiner. I think, moving here, stepping out of my comfort zone like an octopus, every arm needs to kind of be doing something at all times, trying to make friends, trying to learn how to be a mom, trying to learn new tips and tricks and places to go for my kids because I don't know the lay of the land. So I joined this mom's club. It's amazing. I've made a lot of friends and I've learned a lot of things. And they were hosting a play group at a splash pad in a town pool. And usually when they host the play groups, it's like private. So, and I never read the emails fully because that is my fault, but this was not a private one. And it was in the morning in a hot summer in a landlocked state. And I was shook. And now, as a makeup artist, I'm a visual person. Visuals matter to me. I made my career on making things look more beautiful. My attention to detail is incredibly specific. And I am actually affected by the way that things look and are. Call me crazy. That's fine. You can change the channel if you want to. I'm just being honest. Cement, not flattering on anybody's skin. You wouldn't paint a room the color of cement. The people who design cement function not for fashion. Okay? So cement in a hot playground with sunburned people. It was loud. There were splashing noises. It was so crowded. There was a steel fence and the cement. That's all I could see. And I braved it because last summer when my son was little, I was like, okay, let's try this. They had a play group there. And I drove by and I didn't get out of the car. And then as we were pulling around making U-turn, my son threw up and in the car. And I was like, oh, he threw up. Sorry, we couldn't make it. And then this year, I was like, let me try again with 2 kids. I don't know what I was thinking. So we got there, I unloaded them, got out of the car. I walked. I befriended this lady in the parking lot, another mom, kids same age. We were chatting. She was wearing cute cover up. I walked in. I took a half a lap. I didn't see anybody that I recognized from my play group. Now, mostly everybody looked the same. Everyone was in bathing suits. Everybody looked tired. Everybody looked exhausted. Nobody looked actually like they even wanted to be there. And then I turned around and I saw the woman from the parking lot and I was like, I can't do this. It's not for me. And then I saw people schlepping like tents, like they were setting up a tailgate at, an outdoor theater. And now in the beach that I grew up in going to, we schlepped our shit. Like I'm a master schlepper. My dad lugged the cooler. I now lug the cooler. I just ordered a wagon for our upcoming beach trip, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I posted on my Instagram that I couldn't do it. And I was afraid at first, like, oh, am I going to isolate somebody? But I remember Joan Rivers always says, don't apologize for your jokes and don't apologize for being yourself. That's like rule number 1. And I am just not a public pool person. So we came home, went for ice cream, set up our little baby pool with our hose water, had a glass of wine, made a funny reel, called it a day. My friend today, she was like, do you want to go to this other town pool, the one in our town with a nice little area? Let's try it out. And I was like, let's try it out. Okay. Let's do this again with a different mindset. We're going with my friend. I've already seen what this place looks like once before because I had a birthday party there the other day and it was cute, a kitschy kind of sandlot town pool vibe. There were lifeguards in red bathing suits, just like Wendy Peppercorn. And we had a great time. And I'm really proud of myself because I could have just been like, no, never, not again. But we just moved here. We've only been here for 3 years. My kids are under 3, 2.5 and 10 months at the time of this recording. And like, what am I going to do? We're not just going to randomly buy a beach house. I can't go away for the entire summer because my husband's work doesn't allow for that. And we're not putting in our own pool. Not yet. First of all, my kids are really little. So it's an extreme hazard. It's really dangerous. I'm just trying to figure it out. And I got to tell you, the summer, this is really hard. And as much as I am preaching about the beauty of a life pit, it's not always beautiful. There's ugly parts. I had a huge conversation, a testy conversation, we'll call it, with my husband about the summers because, I moved for love. I didn't move for location. And while I do love being in the Midwest for many, many reasons, being landlocked, it's just not in my DNA. I want to have a lobster roll and look at the sea. I want to put my toes in the sand at 5 o'clock when it starts to cool off a little bit and everybody's gone home and it's just you and the seagulls and that extra snack that you packed for that time and that chilled bottle of wine. It's my favorite time of day. We're going home next weekend. So I'm looking forward to having those lovely moments. So I'm trying to keep the podcast evergreen, but I'm also just trying to share my thoughts, fears, hopes, and dreams, and whatever is currently actually happening in my life. See. One of the things I was most proud about myself for both days actually was picking out my outfit. Before having kids, I was extremely insecure. I was worried about so many things, probably because I had more time to think about myself than I do now. I was anxious about random things like my thighs, how they might look in the shade. And if you're an insecure person listening to this, you might know what I'm talking about. And if you're a confident person, then bless your heart. You're like, what the hell is she saying? I'm naturally pretty fair skinned and I've started covering up my insecurities when I was a teenager. I had friends who were Italian and they had very smooth skin and they got really dark and kind of caramelized. And I was just there with my little chicken pox looking legs turning purple. You could see every root that the hair grew out of that I had freshly shaved like 10 minutes after shaving it. So I started putting body makeup on when I was like 15. And then I would mix it with oils and I'd mix it with shimmers and I'd mix it with lotions and I would create my own products. It's surprising that I haven't actually even made something yet, but I have a long list of beauty products that I do love for the body and I can link them, when I launch this episode. But something that I was really proud of myself since having kids is that I didn't put any of that stuff on to go to the pool. And I didn't even worry about what I was going to look like. I just put on a cute outfit that I felt confident in and I was like, we're going. And I got Sonic the Hedgehog ices all down my leg turning blue. So luckily I did not have a fresh spray tan. Recently, my daughter pooped on me. We were in our baby pool in our backyard and she had her swim diaper on and I took it off for a second and it shot all down my leg. And all I could think to myself was the glossy golden caramel color of her poop was kind of like the color that I used to make myself be was the shit that was all going down my leg. Now I know this is completely disgusting. It's really just crazy. It's crazy all the different things that goes on once you have kids. So the press tour for the movie The Odyssey just came out this week and the fashion it's delicious. I've been starving for the beauty that is this press tour. It is absolutely incredible. Everybody's looking insane. Zendaya wore a look from a fashion house called Matiere Fecale. I probably said that wrong. The page I follow posted the look and said, Zendaya wearing fecal matter. And because I'm a mom of two, my instant thought is to think she's wearing shit. I'm really out of it, aren't I? I absolutely love fashion, although I've never been the most trendy person. I kind of actually hate the word trend. Most of my fashion icons are like people who are 75 and up. I love the Instagram page, Ladies in Madison Avenue. So regal, so elegant, so confident. Maybe it's something that happens with age. Like Jane Fonda is my biggest inspiration. Maybe it's just that confidence that the women over 60, over 70 give, like a life well lived. And, you kind of are at peace with all your decisions and trying not to live with regret and learning from your mistakes and having a core group of friends and your children are grown. I'm really in the thick of it now as a new mom with young kids, living in a new place, like a total fish out of water situation. But even living in New York, I always was super awkward about what I was going to wear. And I was always working with like the most fashionable people. I mean, my clients, Rachel Zoe, Xana Rossi, Georgina Chapman, Chrissy Turlington, like people who are just chic as fuck, like really incredibly chic women who are tastemakers in the industry. I used to go into the offices of Oscar de la Renta to do makeup for the e-commerce, and there would just be the chicest people walking the halls. One of them then became my client. Other of them became my friends. I would do makeup for the founding co-founders of Marchesa, Karen Craig and Georgina Chapman, two incredibly chic British women. And here I am, like this little girl from Long Island, showing up in my Adidas sneakers. Mind you, sometimes Georgina would wear Adidas too. And then I would go work these fabulous weddings, and people would be wearing these extreme luxury designers and just have racks and racks and racks of dresses when I pull up to these weddings. And I would just always feel so unfashionable. I'd be like, okay, here's my same little black uniform again. But my makeup translated. My taste level was always approved by this type of client. And that has given me the innermost confidence now, feeling like such a fish out of water living here. Like, okay, well, if so and so thought that I had good taste enough to do her makeup for 10 plus years, then I can do this. I can pick out an outfit to go to the town pool. I can conquer making this dinner for my family, or using my taste level from the experiences that I've had with the clients that I've had, and then putting it into, kind of scattering it about my house, everything else. One of my favorite fashion icons is Iris Apfel, and one of her famous quotes is, "Fashion you can buy, but style you possess. The key to style is learning who you are, which takes years. There's no roadmap to style. It's all about self-expression and, above all, attitude." She also said, if you're going to stress out to have a sense of style, don't do it. It's kind of like if you can't do a cat eye and you're in a rush, don't do it. I was really proud of myself that I didn't stress out about what I was going to wear to the pool, probably because I also have brand new 2 miracle suits that I got before we went on vacation earlier this year. It truly is a miracle. And this episode is not sponsored by Miracle Suit. This is not sponsored by anyone because this is only my second episode. But I gotta say, if you're out there and you're listening and you just had a kid, or you're not sure about anything in life, you can be sure that a miracle suit is going to snatch you back up together and you are going to feel good. I've been breastfeeding for 3 years. I do not feel like I'm in a good place physically with my body, but I felt so confident and comfortable in my skin to tackle the public pool. There was a lot of people watching at the public pool, not like sitting on the steps of the Met, but there was a lot of people watching at the public pool. Andre Leon Talley has a funny video or quote though, and he says, "My eyes are starving for beauty." And that's how I feel actually a lot. Living here and also just being a stay-at-home mom, because I'm inside, I would say like 90% of the time, or I'm just kind of alone with my kids 90% of the time. I'm not running around. I'm not seeing the cultural world that is New York City. And I know that is a small part of the map where you do get the entire planet that crosses your path in one place. But that is my comparison. So that's what I'm up against here. And that's why I find, some of my days to be a little bit more challenging than others, because I just wish I could go outside and get smacked in the face with 100 people in New York. But instead I can just go to the public pool. I can get inspired for a lot of beauty segments there. I saw a lot of areas of opportunity, and I saw some pretty cute bathing suits. I'm giving it a chance. And you know what? That's the best I can do. And that's the best kind of role model I can be, because I don't want my kids to grow up thinking that things can only be one way, or we have, I don't want them to be afraid of anything. And I don't want them to be snobby. And I don't want them to say, well, we can only go in the ocean in New York. Like, okay. And people from Greece and Italy, they don't want to go in the ocean in New York. They think the Atlantic Ocean is disgusting. At least, Long Beach. You take someone from Sardinia and you put them in Long Island, and they're like, "Mm, I'm not going in that. I can't see my feet." So it's all relative. But I truly think it's all what you make it. And if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. So if I made it in New York, I can make it in Ohio, and I can change my mindset. It's all about your mindset. And I think that's something that I'm really trying to hone in on as a mom, and as a new wife, and as somebody that's transplanted I change my mindset every day. If I can just reset, if I'm feeling one type of way, I know that I can do a better job and I can be a better example for my kids because this is going to be their childhood. They don't need to live the same childhood that I lived because they're not living the way that I lived. Everyone's always like, we created a core memory today. Like, how do you know that? How do you know that you created a core memory or that I'm creating a core memory for him? He's happy eating ice pops in our backyard, in our hose water pool. I hope he remembers that. I hope I remember this. I hope I'm not too caught up in being caught up that I lose touch and I forget along the way. I need to slow down, soak it all in, and just enjoy where I'm at right now because next week is going to be another adventure. The days are long, but the years are short, they say. Next week, we're going to talk to a couple of friends. I've got a couple of great guests lined up. So I hope that you've enjoyed this reflective episode of Get Glazed. And I look forward to hearing your comments, your thoughts, your reviews. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And I'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.